Well, hello, good evening, and welcome to Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. This is Sandy, and this is Thursday Night Live, 5 o'clock always on Mountain Standard Time. And we already have people in the chat, so I take just one quick minute. Cheryl's in. Now, Penny's back. She was here before, and now she's back, and Julie's here. Hello, good evening, everyone. And today I wanted to talk about something that really it's really simple, but honestly, actually, it's very personal to me. What dirt, chicken, and bread has taught me in my life. And you might think, what? But it isn't, and it's not about farming skills, it's not about homesteading skills. It's about growth, it's about healing, it's about the rhythm of my life, about the rhythm of other people's lives. And it's really those quiet lessons that you don't really even realize you're learning until it's all formulated and you're working with your hands. And some seasons are very heavy. And so if you have these different things in your life, it can really just balance it out and really just, I guess what surprised me most when I started realizing about dirt, chickens, and bread. What really surprised me the most was I could literally learn these things. And it wasn't from a book, it wasn't from a podcast, it wasn't from other people. It was from soil and feathers, from the chickens and from flour. And today I just wanted to share those lessons. 3 lessons of life that I learned from dirt, chickens, and bread. And Maddie is here. Hello, how are ya? I'm so happy that you're here. Okay, so let's talk about lesson 1. Dirt, soil, the ground. What's below my feet? What's below your feet? Is there lessons to learn in dirt? I think there is. I think that dirt, soil, is one of the most powerful things that we have in our life. And you don't have to be a homesteader to realize that. You don't even have to be a gardener to realize that. Healthy soil doesn't happen by accident. And everything in your life does not happen. If it's a healthy thing in your life, does not happen by accident. You have to feed it, tend to it, work it, protect it. It has to be part of your life. Now, when you feed your soil, you're feeding your garden, of course. But honestly, it feeds my heart. It does, and we're going to talk about how that does it. Because soil teaches patience. You don't just throw some seeds in the ground and all of a sudden that plant is there the next day. It's not the way it works. And life does not work that way. Penny says, I can say that I think so too. They're life lessons. They are, sometimes you have to break that soil down before you can get things to grow. You have to work that soil. You have to add that soil. You have to add those amenities to that soil. Compost can be messy, but it creates a garden and it creates a life. It's those unseen things that you don't see. You don't see what's happening. You don't see those microbes and mycelium and all the things in that soil that you can't see. And that's like life. There's all these things that are happening that you can't see. But what you can do in your life, you can work your life. You can add to your life. You can throw out the weeds in your life. And that may be things around you, might be things in your house. It could be people in your life. It could be um, it could be a job. It could be so many different things. But I've told people over and over again that tending my soil, pulling weeds, is the best therapy I could ever have. And in fact, sometimes when life is overwhelming to me, I just want to go out into the soil, into the yard, and pull weeds. Don't be by me. Leave me alone. I need that space. I need that quiet. I need to be grounded with the soil. I mean, seriously, take your shoes off in the dirt sometimes. It literally, scientifically, is healthy for your body. Who would have thought? You know, you're a little kid, you're playing in the dirt, you're playing in the mud, it's all over your hands, it's all over your feet. Who knew when we were doing that as children that that was literally good for you? I think that we do a disservice to our children, our grandchildren, the kids around us when we do not let them play in the mud. I know we're just become the society that, oh, don't get dirty, don't get your clothes dirty, don't do this, don't do that. Let them be children. I think you have to have that harmony. And one of the easiest ways to do that is with soil, with dirt. Plain and simple, dirt can change your life. If you don't have a garden to tend to, get a community garden plot. Plant things in pots. Seriously, it can change your mood, that because what it literally does, you get involved in that soil and the whole rest of that craziness is just gone. And you have to have that harmony in your life. You have to do it. Um, Things a lot of times in our lives have to break down before they can grow. And that's what happens in soil. You got to break that soil down. You got to add it. You got to nurture it. You got to recognize what it needs. And we have to do that in our life too. You can't fake good soil. There's a lot of things in our lives that we can fake, but you cannot fake good soil. Even the farmers that just adds just so much nitrogen and all this stuff onto their soil. And it looks like these great plants and it looks like all this stuff that's growing so well. But the nutritional value year after year goes down and down and down. And then all of a sudden the soil becomes toxic. You can literally put too much stuff in your garden and the soil will become toxic. Are you doing that in your life? Step back, see what you're adding in your life. Dirt, soil, it teaches us patience because seriously, you don't get to see that overnight instant gratification with soil. The growth starts underground, you don't see it, you just keep nurturing. And honestly, in your life, that soil is like your foundation, and you got to tend to this foundation in your life. Okay, let's switch to chickens. Feathers. Chickens are pretty simple creatures. They want food, they want water, they want sunshine, they want to be safe, and they need some kind of shelter. You know, you basically provide that for them, and that you got a bunch of hens that are very happy for you. They will do their job. They will um, they will just show up every day. They're there. They see you coming. They're happy to see you because they're this faithful reminder that life is more than just big moments. One of the funnest things when you have chickens is introducing different foods to them. Now you got your grains and you got your pellets and you got the things that you feed them. So they have all these nutritions. But I like to feed, I'll feed them weeds. I'll feed them the outsides of lettuce or cabbages, different fruits and vegetables. But the funnest thing ever is you have corn on the cob for supper, and you throw those cobs out to the chickens that have never seen a corn on the cob before. It is literally the most amazing, funny, silly thing you ever saw. Because at first they're afraid of them. Because you're their safety net. And all of a sudden you've introduced this weird thing that they've never seen before. But it doesn't take them long, and that they're just so funny, just pecking away, and they will just clean up that cob like nothing else. And I thought, that is kind of like our life. And some things come into our lives, and it's different, and it's unexpected, and we're afraid. But you don't have to be afraid. Look at the thing that's coming into your life. Is it good? Does it need to be added to? Does it need to be pushed away? I watched a doctor on a YouTube episode, Diary of a CEO. I love his podcast, and he had a brain doctor, a lady brain doctor, and she broke down the different parts of our brain and what makes us scared and what makes us happy and all this stuff. And I thought, this is like chickens. um, the thing about chickens is they want you to feed them and they want you to have water for them, but they don't have any to-do list. They've taught me that consistency over intensity, that they're happy. They're happy to see me. They're happy with life. They're enjoying the sunlight, something good to eat. They're daily faithful. Their faithfulness, our daily faithfulness matters. It matters to us emotionally and spiritually. It matters to the people around us. They remind me to have joy every single day. So when I'm down here in Arizona and I don't have any chickens, it's a hard thing for me. It is. It's one of those things that I enjoy so much, and it just relaxes me. I can literally go sit by my chickens and just watch them, and they're just completely content. And when I need that in my life, that is such a blessing to me. And even when they're messy, because chickens can be messy, even through that messiness, they give back to me. And so even in our messiness of life, are we still giving back to other people? Are we still helping other people? Because those chickens, they show up every single day. They're expecting me to do what I'm supposed to be doing. But in return, they can put me into a place that is just such a balance, that chickens don't rush for tomorrow. They're just thinking about, what am I going to eat? Am I going to have a dust bath? Is there anything that I can play with? So you put different things in their coop area that they can entertain themselves with. They like a swing. It's very interesting. There's just something healing and restoring to me in that constant rhythmic routine of their care. Now, I have to honestly tell you, some days it's just like, oh, I gotta go feed the chickens. But for the most part, that's not the case. And that's a lesson in life that I learned, that I need to slow down maybe. Their joy is simple, and my joy can be simple. There's nothing wrong with that. And crazy, fast-paced world, sometimes we think that, oh, we got to just be bing, 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 bing. And you guys know I'm quite the workaholic. But resting is part of the process. It's um it can be hard. Honestly, it can be hard to find that place when there's so many things to do. And so sometimes it can be a hard thing. But when I can go out and I can do the routines, what I need to do with my chickens, it's very healing to me. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I want to be in the garden, or I want to be um, doing something with those chickens. Now, there's one other place, one other lesson that really helps me, um, and that's bread. Who would have thought flour could be a lesson in life? But truly, it is. Making your own bread is just, it's one of those things that unless you started doing it and you do it on a regular basis, you just don't know how therapeutic it can be. Um, Pushing that dough, that manual working of it, it's like when you're working in the dirt. But the difference for me, when I'm kneading that bread, I've got all my recipes and it's time to knead it. I can literally push my emotions into that bread. If I'm frustrated, I can just pound that bread if I wanted to. Have you guys ever felt that way? That you're just so frustrated. And honestly, when you're frustrated, make yourself a loaf of bread. That whole kneading process can just really push that stuff out. Julie says it's meditative and empowering. It is, it is just, those are just such true words. And honestly, when I didn't have words, I still had flour, and it's so therapeutic. There was a time in my life years ago, and life was hard. It was seriously hard. And I was in a situation and I didn't know how to get out of it, and I didn't know what to do. And literally, there were times I would go into the bathroom because I was all by myself, and I would literally scream without making noise because I had to do something. And that's when I realized that I could take those emotions and use my life lesson 3 and make bread, because I could push all that stuff in there. Life is similar to making bread. There is pressure that builds resilience, because the more you knead that bread, all of a sudden becomes very elastic, and it changes the way it feels in your hands, and you know that it's ready to rest. And that's what I needed in my life. Julie says, I watched a video this morning with a woman praying over her bread making process and using it as a way to commune with God. Brilliant. Seriously brilliant. Isn't that amazing? I even think that pushing that dough, if you're pounding it or you're just pushing it, rolling it, and pushing it, it sometimes it almost feels symbolic to me. My youngest daughter once told me that, because for a while she went through this angry stage, and she learned to be a potter. And she told me one time that she could push all of her anger into that pottery. That's the same with that bread. I can push all of my emotions into that bread. And your oven finishes what that kneading process started. And in our lives, we knead and we push and we add. And some seasons are like that. And some transformations need that heat of an oven to become what you're supposed to become. I mean, it literally helped me emotionally, physically. But I really think pushing frustration out, pressing hope in, was just something that was beyond what I could have even imagined. Why do I think these 3 life lessons are better than therapy? It doesn't cost you. You get to work those things out. Not that I'm saying that you should never go to a therapist, because honestly, I think they can help people. But dirt doesn't judge you, ever. Chickens don't need explanations. They just need you to go out, be consistent day in and day out. In our lives, we have to be consistent day in and day out. Bread doesn't ever argue back. You can literally just push that stuff in there. And amazingly, becomes this fabulous loaf of bread. It's just working with my hands quiets me. I don't know if that does for other people, like everybody else in the chat. Does it quiet you when you're working with your hands? One of the other things about these 3 lessons, working in the dirt, working with my chickens, making dough, it literally stops me from overthinking. Now, I don't know if you guys do this ever, but do you ever get in a situation you're frustrated and you just think it over and over and over, and it just won't even stop? You got to put yourself in a place where working in your garden soil can distract you. Working on your bread dough can distract you. Sometimes just watching something amazing like chickens can distract you. And the world you just become enveloped in what you're doing, and the world can just stay out for a while. Because sometimes that's exactly what you need to do. Nature has rhythms. It's everywhere. Nature has rhythms. And so if you can step into those rhythms, it can help you. Rhythms can move and change you. And if you can get into different rhythms in your life, it's very calming. Sometimes healing doesn't always come with talking. I know we hear it all the time. You just need somebody to talk to. Sometimes it's more healing to be tending your soil, tending your chickens, tending your bread. A lot of times can be better than talking, because when you talk to somebody, they could give you some really crappy advice that's not helping you. And it could be hurting the situation. I guess it brought me back to basics, that growth starts underground, growth starts inside me. Consistency matters. Doesn't have to be complicated to be meaningful. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes we think that it has to have all these moving parts. Our life has to be all these moving parts. Our life does not have to be all these moving parts. Life can be simple, and it's okay. And it doesn't have to be, oh, I got to do this, and I got to go here, and I got to take this vacation, and I got to do this, and this, and this, and this. You don't have to. Seriously, you do not have to. sometimes what saves you is already under your feet. Seriously, under your feet. I guess I think that if I honestly, when I was thinking about this live stream of the things that really have changed my life, the things that have really made more of a difference in my overall mental health, really, it was 3 life lessons. It was what I learned from the dirt under my feet, what I learned from those fun, crazy little chickens in my backyard, and what dough taught me about releasing my emotions, that it was okay, that it was sometimes pressure builds strength. It does. But sometimes you just got to push all that out from around you. And you have to let those simple things in life surround you. You have to let them, yeah, like Cheryl says, I need more simple. How many times have people said that to you? I wish my life was simpler. I've gone and I've made it so complicated and so busy. And I'm one to talk about busy. Every single day I have a list that I do. But if you can just take those little half hour here, 15 minutes here, an hour here during your day, um, it can change your life. And so what you can learn through tending your garden, helping with your chickens, and the emotional support of making bread is beyond words. And Ann Dale is here. Ann, how are you? Team replay. And I was given my 3 lessons in life. What I've learned from dirt, chickens, and bread. And it has made me look at things differently. It's made me more balanced. Um, and honestly, all 3 of them, they're cheaper than therapy. They can change your life like nothing else can. If you need professional guidance, I'm not saying that there's not places for that. There are places for that. But in my everyday things that I need to do, life doesn't have to be complicated. Play in the dirt, feed your chickens, and make your own bread. And you will just be amazed. Julie says, oh, the mod here. Everyone behave. Oh, I don't see anything that's not behaving. So everybody, thanks for spending 30 minutes with me. If any of this resonated with you, I'd love to hear what simple things you've learned to do to help protect and guide and ground yourself. For me, it's dirt, chickens, and dough, bread dough. But everybody has their own things that they find. So, I think Julie was talking about Anne. Okay. I didn't understand at first, but now I get it because Anne is one of my mods. But everybody have a great night. I am going to play bingo. It's card bingo. It's not really anything to do with bingo, but that's what they call it. But Joe has ended up liking doing it, so him and I are off in just a few minutes to go play card bingo. Anne says, I'm learning to live in the moment and enjoying today. It's important. Anne's going through a lot of things, and you know that all of us are praying for you and your hubby. And Maddie, thanks so much for stopping in. All you guys for stopping in. Anybody that's watching the replay, make sure you give me a thumbs up and join if you want to be part of Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. And Cheryl says that she's hibernating. Sometimes because of that rhythm, remember we were talking earlier that life has a rhythm, and winter can be a great hibernating time, and that's a rhythm in life. But everybody have a great night, and I will see you soon. And tomorrow night I have Friday Night Challenge. It's a short. I'm not telling you what it is though. I almost did. I almost told you what it is. Penny says, I so loved hearing this tonight. Thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Ann says, we got this and love you, Sandy. 3 feet of snow. I love snow, actually. I can't even tell you how much I miss being down here. I mean, there's a lot of good things about being in Arizona, and we're right by my parents, and Joe loves it, and we have a lot of good friends, but I miss having snow. But that's the season of life right now. Everybody have a great night. I will see you soon.